I'm very excited to run this webinar, and I'm happy that so many of you have put time aside to spend time with me for the next hour and a half. And what we will be focusing on is the 3 steps to becoming successful by taking action towards a work-life balance. And I thought I'd start off with just giving you the outline of the webinar, what to expect from the session. First of all, I hope that it will be a big inspiration and motivation for you to start to improve your life today, and also that you will get a deeper understanding of why quality of life is the key to success, both at home and at work. And you will also all leave with an individual action plan on how you can improve your own quality of life, again, both at home and at work. And the agenda then for the webinar will be, I will first talk a bit about Webb's consulting, and then my own life experience, which has resulted in Webb's quality of life model, which I will go through with you. And then you all going to get the opportunity to do some own work and evaluate your own quality of life. And we will end the session with questions and answers. So if I can just start off a bit about Webb's consulting then. Originally it's just me, Pia Webb. I set up the business 4 years ago with a passion to change organizations around by focusing on the quality of life of the individual. And the quality of life model is the backbone of the business. I'm accredited life and career coach on the senior practitioner level with the EMCC, European Mentor and Coaching Council, and I've been running companies in Sweden that done badly, and I made them succeed. So it's a lot personal with this business, but I've got a massive vision, and which I will share with you shortly. And what I believe then is that quality of life is a profitable investment, and really tomorrow's successful organization are those that recognize the link between the individual's quality of life and the organization's profitability. It's quite simple really. I mean, if people do the best at work and feel good about themselves, the organization will benefit from that. And if you look at the services that we do offer then at Webb's Consulting, it's me, and I take in people, professionals, coaches, and consultants when I go into organizations where I need more support. We offer empowering workshops and coaching programs in personal development, leadership, and business development, with the goal to achieve a sustainable change towards quality of life and profitability for the organization. And our long-term vision then is to be able to certify organizations worldwide in Webb's quality of life model. And what this means is that an organization then would have this as you enter the company. It's simply a great place to work. It's quality of life for the individual, and it's success for the organization. And I think that really speaks for itself. If we just go back to ourselves and think, where would I like to work? Where I'm looked after, where I feel good, and where I'm proud to be part of the organization. So that's my big vision. It's a 20-year vision to be able to certify companies worldwide. And I thought I'd share a bit of the examples of the testimonials companies that I've worked with personally. I worked for the NHS, Universal Music Publishing, the managing director in Sweden, the Swedish Scout Association, the Secretary General, the FOE, the Swedish Defence Research Agency, where I coached middle managers, and the SEB Bank, where I inspired lots of managers and people in the workshops that I run. And I've also been going into universities and schools and giving them master classes in how to become successful by investing in your own quality of life. I've coached many SME companies in Sweden and in the UK. And if you want to know more about testimonials, please visit the website. I thought I'd share with you one quote, one testimonial from the end, which is on the quality of life model, which I will be talking about shortly here. And you can read it for yourself, really. You probably read it faster than me being a Swede and all. but really what it says is that, you know, it's my own experience that's come around with this model. And I think that's why it becomes across very honest and very simple and clear. And that's why I think people absorb it as well, because it is an holistic way of looking at life. So I'm very happy to be able to share the model and my passion for it today with you. So let's go back to the actual webinar. 3 steps to becoming successful by taking action towards the work-life balance. I always do this. I always share the key straight away. Why not tell you what the 3 steps are straight away to get you motivated to continue to listen? So here they come. Nearly. I was actually on the next slide because I thought if I tell you my experience first and then how I've learned, because I've learned the experiences, these 3 steps from my own experience. So I will now spend some time on my own experience, how I ended up where I am, and how the model came about due to this. So I've been managing director, managing different companies in Sweden that's done badly and made them do well. I've also been called what we call in Swedish as the clever girl, someone that really needs to work and give 100% always, more of a perfectionist, which nearly killed me. I ended up with a burnout as a result. I even got through grief of losing a child. We lost our first child during delivery. It was an awful experience, and that's when I was shivering now when I'm telling you, because it was an experience that you remember for the rest of your life, but it was actually then that the seed for Webb's consulting was created. So I thought I divide them into 3 parts: personal, leadership and business, what experience that I've learned from this. So 1 here first, someone to talk to confidentially. You know, I felt that I didn't really have anyone to speak to. It was very lonely up there at the top. And I think if I would have had someone to speak to, for example, a coach, a confidential person to speak to, I wouldn't have ended up with a burnout. I would have been able to question my own thoughts and also, you know, thinking, is this really the right way to go around things, rather than just running for everything and doing everything for everyone. So I wish I would have had someone to speak to. I also realized that you're responsible for your own life, because I used to sort of complain and saying it's this and that fault that this is happening, but really it was actually my fault. I was saying yes to everything. I never used to say no. I said, oh, of course I can do that. I mean, I remember yes, when I was working for this IT company and the coffee machine ran out of coffee, and said, oh, Pia, it's run out of coffee, the coffee machine. Oh, right, yeah, I fixed that. Or like, oh, the photocopy machine is broke. Oh, I fixed that. So I used to be doing everything for everyone rather than actually asking them to sort it out or delegate, if you like. And I also realized that whatever I do, it's up to me, and I can't blame how I live my life on anyone else anymore. And that was a big wake-up call for me. And then I also learned a really big value here was to prioritize own time to recharge batteries. I never really used to be able to have any own time. I used to, you know, work was my passion, and but I still slept well, thank God. But I realized that where can I go to just have my own time? And I found that in the sauna. So I spend at least 2 hours every week in the sauna. I've actually been there before at this webinar as well. It was only 40 minutes today that I had time, but it was important. I felt, you know, what do I need to do in order to be my best at the webinar? And I thought, you know, I need to go to the sauna, so I did. And then when we come to the leadership then, I realized the importance of seeing the potential in each employee, you know, and really ask them open questions to see what they're about. If you do the appraisals, we all know what we're good at, what we want to do, what needs to be done for us to be happy. It's better to ask the people to tell us rather than me telling you what to do. For example, if you got a top salesperson and then you say, yeah, I'm promoting you now to become a sales manager, and that person is like, oh, well, thank you so much for, you know, giving me the honor, when that person's driving force wasn't at all to do with looking after staff. You know, it was the thrill of getting that deal. So it's important to really get to know the employees and let them develop the way that's best for them. And then also I learned the importance of instruct and communicate very clearly. There's so many times where there could be misunderstandings, people are talking behind each other's back, and you can never be enough clear when you communicate. And that's something that really goes back to your whole life, you know, a holistic way. It's the same in your relationship as well. You know, if you don't talk openly about how you feel, then you know, your relationship won't be as strong as it could be. It's the same in a business. If you're open and everyone is clear and knows what's expected and how to work, why we do things, and before things happen you're all informed, then obviously more energy will be created. And then also with the leadership, I learned to delegate properly. I used to delegate, but not the way as I've learned, you know, from the experiences of also being a coach, and to get the coachable approach by asking open questions. For example, if someone came up to me today and said, "Oh, Pia, you know, the coffee machine's broke." I said, "Right, well, what options have you got? What can you do?" "Well, I could, you know, it needs to be fixed and blah blah blah." "Okay, well, when would be a good time for you?" "Well, how can you make sure it be fixed?" "Well, I could call this company, they could come and fix it out." So, well, what's best for you? You go for it, and you know, you coach people back and don't take on board their issues. If someone comes with someone has to be responsible for that. So it's, again, it has to do with making sure that people's duties are clear as well. Who's responsible for what? But by doing this, asking open questions, you're really empowering the people to take more responsibility, and then they also grow as a result. And then we come to the business part, and I learned the importance of having a focus from running businesses that were doing badly and made them succeed. The reason why these companies became successful was because I was really focused on, we need to focus, we need to know where we're going, we need to find a niche, and we need to set a vision so we all know which way we're working, what we're working towards. So that's something that I've really taken on board. In fact, for myself, I've got a massive vision. It might be different ways of getting there, but at least I know where I'm going. It makes it easier. And also, when it comes to selling, obviously, without your customers, you're nothing. So you really need to realize that you develop your services, products and services as your customers need, and really get to know your clients and look after the ones you got. And finally, to dare to really think big and really go for it. I mean, these are a summary of what I've learned, you know, looking back on my life, and which has helped me to create Webb's quality of life model. But then what I learned was these 3 steps to becoming successful, because I've changed the way I was doing things, and I learned how important the first step is, and that is to invest in my own quality of life. I realized if I don't invest in my own quality of life, I'm going nowhere. Because obviously I've had a burnout as well. I've lost a child. I was very competitive and all these things. And I'm thinking, what's important for me? And then step 2 was to prioritize time to reflect, to actually stop and reflect. And there's different ways of doing this. Sometimes 1 minute is enough for people. You go away somewhere where it's quiet. I mean, I do a lot of reflection when I'm in the sauna, for example. And then step 3, when you have prioritized time to reflect, then you are more likely to be able to act on making a conscious decision. It could be something as simple as, am I going to go out tonight? Hold on, let me reflect on that. No, because I need to be home when the kids come home, so I'm going to say no, I'm not going to that session tonight, or whatever the invitation that I will go into. So yeah, you're making a conscious decision. It's 3 simple steps. If you keep this with you, you will go very far. So then I asked you what quality of life is, because I thought it'd be interesting to know with the group what you think quality of life is. Before I tell you what I believe quality of life is. So you all got the question, and I've got some answers, and I thought I'd share with you one Yes, so we can all look at this one. So one of the participants emailed in and shared this vision with me. This quality of life is for this person. And really, it can be summarized then, as they say, it's health, wealth, and happiness. And I think it's a really nice way of describing what quality of life is for this person. And you all probably have other ideas what quality of life is for you, but now I like to let you know what quality of life is for me and for Webb's Consulting, and to help you to get this in a holistic way, an approach to life where you can fit all your questions would fit into this model. It's called Webb's Quality of Life Model, and it is an approach to life, both private and professional. And the middle, the heart of the model is the win-win. And that if organizations understand the value of investing in these 4 sources, the company will be very, very successful. And it's only soft issues we're talking about. So I'm going to guide through the model. And what I will do is to tell you also a bit about how I live on each source. And let's go. So we start off with number 1, self-esteem. And that is that you are strong within yourself, you are happy with who you are, you don't want to be anyone else, and you stand up for your thoughts, and you know, you don't really care that much what other people think about you. And if you look at myself, I used to have a really low self-esteem. It used to be really important for me what other people thought about me, and I always had to achieve rather than just be happy with who I were. You know, looking back at my childhood, I remember my dad used to say, after I've done some homework, you know, oh yeah, but this is wrong, rather than saying it's good. You know, you always look at the negative things, but obviously he was doing it, he's thinking it's a positive way, but for me that wasn't good. But I love my dad. Anyway, then we come to time. And time, then, we all got the same amount of time, but it's just how we manage it. And that you actually reflect on your time. And this is where the 3 steps to becoming successful are so important, that you prioritize time to reflect, and then you act, being conscious. So you have time for what's important in your life. So you work with time management. You work really hard when you work, so you have more time to relax, to do what's important to you. For me, for example, to recharge my batteries is crucial. The kids, my children, even can say to me, "Mommy, you need to go to the sauna," if I haven't got much patience. And I'm like, yeah, and I need my own time. They says, you need your own time. So I think that is brilliant to bring that into children at an early stage, that we all need our own time. And also that we need to put ourselves first. And then we come to number 3, that's passion. And that is that you are passionate about your life, the way you live. You have hobbies, interests, ideas, dreams, jobs, whatever it might be. But make sure what you're passionate about, that it is part of your life. And I mean, a lot of people have coached, especially actually male has been in the 60s, managing directors. They felt like their passion, haven't really got any passion. They're passionate about their work, but it's not enough time to do anything else. And what sometimes we have to do is to go back in the childhood to see, you know, what did you enjoy doing, and you know, to see when they stop smiling, you know, like, wow, we're on something here, and you know, how would that be to bring that back into your life? And they're like, yeah, brilliant. And then you do, it's amazing. I mean, I'm passionate about so many things, you know. Food is one that I'm very, very passionate about. You know, I love food, good food, especially organic and dairy and gluten-free, which I can mention to you why in a minute. And also I love being outdoors with my family, and I love to have an active, healthy lifestyle, and I obviously love to inspire people, so that's why I'm doing this. So I hope you are enjoying it so far. So then we go into the heart of the model, which is the health. And it's so important here to realize that we are all responsible for our own life. We can't blame anyone else how we look after ourselves. So it's important here to obviously eat healthy, exercise regularly, and also sleep properly. And also look at how can you prevent any negative stress that might lead to burnout, and also any alcohol or drug problems that you might have. So it's very personal, but you know, deal with them and things will be better. And you look here then, how is your health at home compared to at work? You might look after yourself at home but not at work. You might not take breaks. You might sit in front of the computer and eat, or you might not even eat. You might drink lots of coffee and you don't drink any water. You know, the list can be very, very long. But there's things that we all can do to increase the way we look after ourselves. I mean, if you're looking at myself, I had a trauma, my whole body collapsed 4.5 years ago. And I felt like 95-year-old. I mean, I've been really healthy. I've never been overweight. You know, my mum was a dietitianist, and she thought if she was feeding me with the best food. But all of a sudden, after I breastfed my third child, Hannah, the whole body has collapsed. And I felt depressed. I was tired. I had eczema, psoriasis on my body. I had IBS. My legs were aching. I couldn't really I didn't have enough feeling in my hands. And I mean, I just felt totally crap, to be honest. And people were like, oh God, what are you complaining about? So I went to see the doctor, and they said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. We can't see anything wrong on the tests, but we need to make sure, rule out MS. So I had to go through an MS scan, and they said, we can't see anything wrong. And I said, I'm sure it's the food. And they were like, no, it's not the food. You know, a doctor says, you know, obviously you can hear I don't really believe in doctors. But I said, I prove it. So what I did was I got rid of all the dairy products, anything that comes from a cow, butter, cheese, milk, yogurt, anything that comes from a cow. Within 2 weeks, all my eczema disappeared. There was a tiny bit left. My function in my legs came back. I mean, it was amazing. It felt like the body was coming alive again. But I still didn't feel 100%, you know, and I said, what else can it be? And I used to listen to my body. I had no idea which food would be good or bad to you. I used to listen to what the body said. And then I got rid of the gluten. Gluten is any wheat, you know, in bread, pasta. I got rid of that, and that was the biggest moment in my life. After like 2 weeks of taking that away, I connected with my soul, and it was so big. You can just hear how passionate I am about this. I could go on about this for a whole hour. So if I go over time now, you know why. We have to blame it on the health. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I got rid of that. What actually happened, I connected with myself, with my soul. I could feel, it was like a total calmness was inside of me. I could no longer stress. I could sit still and just sit still. I could cry, and it was real tears, and that was really big for me. I became attached emotionally with my feelings. So now afterwards, obviously, I've read a lot about it, and I realized it was poison. It killed me from the inside. And they say it takes 30 years to break down a body. I was 33 when this happened. So I read a lot about it. I've been on TV in Sweden about it, on TV4. If any Swedish people listening, you could, you know, search them on YouTube. I really believe in this, but it's all up to you. But we really are what we eat. That's what I believe. Okay, enough to talk about the health. Well, it was the heart of the model, so you give me a bit of a. I would love to talk a bit more on that one. So then, let's go to the next one, and that's the environment. And that is that you feel like you want to go to work. You wake up in the morning and think, yeah, I'm going to work. You know what's expected from you. You've got clear duties. You feel like you're valued. And you also feel like you're proud of being part of the organization you're in. But also here, you're looking at, you feel like you want to come home. You're happy to come home to your house. You know what's expected from you at home. You feel valued. You're proud to live where you live. I mean, if you look at my experience of coming into the UK, my environment was awful. We managed to move 4 times in, I think, 4 months. We ended up in a moldy house. The whole family was ill, and it was awful. I mean, I could have stayed there and had an awful quality of life, but I didn't. I really fighted my way out of that. And now finally we're in our 4th house, which is, it's a bit unrolled, but that's what you get with the UK, isn't it? So, but it works. So that's important to look at the environment, both at home and at work there. And then if we carry along, we've got the teamwork, which now is actually been changed to people. And teamwork and people, it obviously stands for very similar things. But if you look at the people, then that you feel that teamwork is important to you at work. You talk openly about each other's strengths and weaknesses, and you make sure that you work with your strengths. I mean, it could be anything in an organization. Someone might be doing totally the wrong job because you've not communicated what that person actually is good at. So, I mean, for example, I hate admin, you know, and I wouldn't sit in a room by myself. You know, I need to be out there selling. But if you don't speak your mind and you don't say what you're good at and what you enjoy doing, then who's going to know? It's only the company and you who's suffering from it. And then also with the teamwork, you need to know what the mission is for the company. Where do we want to go? You know, what are we working towards? What do we stand for as an organization? And why do we do what we do? Okay, you did that, I did this, and together we're going to achieve this. And it makes it much more enjoyable at work, and you feel like it's like a big family, really. And then also the leadership is very visible in the organization as well. But also here with the people that you feel like you're close to your loved ones. And this is a big issue. I mean, 80% of people I've coached, there's a problem in the relationship. Mainly because you don't communicate. And here, if you as a person start to talk a bit openly about your strengths and weaknesses, but dare to tell your weaknesses and say, for example, I'm not a very good listener, you know, have you noticed? Oh God, thank God you're bringing that up. 20 years that's been annoying me. So once you start communicating with your partner or whoever, your friends or whoever it is, a lot of things come out of it. And speak your mind, tell the truth. The truth hurts, but that's what life is all about. And nothing bad, worse is going to come out of it. The truth is always the best. So make sure also, as people at home, you know, family or friends, that you know what you're all about. Why are you here? Have you got any vision? Is there anything you want to achieve as a family? Have you got any plans? It could be anything. Yes, from going on holiday, short term as well. But you know, you're all working towards something as a team. And then, I mean, if I want to talk about how I live with the team, with the people here, I'm obviously very open with my relationship here with my husband and the children. So nearly too open sometimes. You know, I'm like an open book, as you can tell. I'm sharing everything with you as well. So when we come to the driving force, then, that is that we all got different drives that what motivates us. We have to make sure that we got the right person in the right position where they got their driving forces. For example, as I said earlier, you know, if you've got a top salesperson who's doing really well and you think as a managing director, yeah, I'm going to promote this one. He's doing so well. He deserves to become the sales manager now. And then you promote this person and it's not working. And you're thinking, what happened? The driving force was not to look after people. It was the drive of that thrill of, you know, getting that deal or being out there. So you really need to know what drives people and make sure you have the right person in the right position. But also here, when you're looking at home, what drives you at home? What motivates you at home? It could be simple things like if you use your communication and say silly things like, you know, cleaning, hoovering, washing up, whatever. If you communicate with your partner and say, you know, honestly, I can't stand washing up, but I don't mind hoovering. Really? Well, I'm the other way around. I enjoy washing up, but I don't stand hoovering. Oh, right, let's swap. And all of a sudden, it created positive energy. So again, they're communicating what makes you feel a bit better, even with the boring things at home. And now we come out then towards the company, and this is the growth. How are you going to grow your organization, or the organization going to grow? And that you have to realize it has to be done from the you know, your client's point of view. You need to develop your products, services from customer needs by doing various research, you know, competitive analysis, marketing research, customer research, to find out really which way are we going to grow this business. And once you know that, that's when you're ready to set the vision, which is number 9. So then you set a vision, it's a focus, you all know long-term where you're going, a 10-year vision, and that's where you also then you build in the business plan, where you are today, where you want to get, and how you're going to get there, follow up with a follow-up. And finally then, is the profitability. How can you make the company more profitable? Of course, you know, traditional things, you know, you can reduce costs, you can try to get maximum out of people, but that's not what this model is about. The hypothesis of Webb's quality of life model is that if you understand the power of these soft issues and that you invest in these and start off the 4 in the middle, the win-win, you will achieve the profitability in the most cost-efficient way, and it will also be a sustainable growth for the organization. And at the moment, University of Central Lancashire in the UK are researching the model, and I've also had interest from other universities. So it is a model that you will hear more about, I'm sure. So let's move on. Now, how can you improve your own quality of life then? Because now I've showed you what I've done. I made changes to my life. The model has been very helpful for me, and it's obviously I need to be a role model on my old model. So that's something that's helped me a lot. But what I say with everything starts with a first step. And this is part of my book, actually, that I'm in the process of writing. We all need to realize that no one is perfect. We all have our issues. The only difference is that some people deal with their issues and do something about it, whilst others don't. And that is so true, because we all have issues. I'm not perfect. None of you are perfect. But if we can admit to that, we will increase our own quality of life, because then we will do something to make life a bit better, where we feel we got the motivation. So I like you all to ask yourself these questions. Do you understand that you have issues? If you do, then this webinar will definitely benefit you for what you will be doing in a minute. Do you understand that you do not want to live with these issues, or at least minimize them? Do you believe change is possible? Have you got the power to affect these issues? And finally, do you understand that it is better to invest a lot of time and resources to solve the issue rather than to continue to have the issue? Okay, so these are 4 questions that are really, really powerful. And if you are, like I say, it's the brave people that work with me, that brings me on board as a coach as well, and also organizations, because it's straight in there. It's you. It's emotions. It's only to do with you. You can't blame this now on anyone else. It's up to you if you want to admit to these 4. And me personally, I still have issues. I'm not perfect. You know, if I don't plan my day, it could be a total mess. I mean, I can be really, really messy in my house, but I can live with that. But I know that, yeah, I could tidy up, but I'm not really that bothered about it. But when I'm organized, then I tend to tidy up very well as well. And if I am very organized, I have a really good day. If I don't have a good day. So that's why it motivates me to really make sure that I plan my time. So just to share a bit. And now, what I like you all to do, this is what I do with my clients as well, and also in the webinar groups, in the workshops that I run. I ask everyone to close their eyes for 1 minute, and I will time you on a minute. And I just want you to find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and then just breathe normally. And just let whatever thoughts comes up, let them come. And I won't ask you anything what came up, but it's a really powerful exercise. So please give yourself this minute. And it's like I say, it's like prioritizing time. So it's step 2. So you invest in your own quality life now. You're going to prioritize time to reflect, or just to be with yourself for 1 minute. So I'm going to time you 1 minute, and it will start now. Right. Now you can open your eyes again. I didn't actually time you there. I just guessed a minute. I couldn't find anywhere when I got the second. So, but there you go. What I like you to do now, whatever came up, just write it down if you like on a piece of paper. But what came up is what your body tells you you need. could be anything. I mean, when I've done this with other people, they can say, oh my God, I felt so tired. I feel like I need to drink. I'm really thirsty. I feel stressed, or I feel happy. Whatever it might be, your body will tell you, and it's up to you if you're going to listen to your body. So I like you to tell you now, before we're going to do some exercises, I want you to tell yourself that you will invest in your own quality of life right now. You will prioritize time to reflect, and you will then act by making conscious decisions. And then what would be your first step? I will guide you through this. You all have got some individual work documentation. If you've not printed it out or you haven't got it at hand, don't worry. We can just use a plain piece of paper. And I will now go through what you will be working with, and I'm going to inspire you by letting you know how other people have worked with it as well. So I'm going to go through it now. So it's called Webb's Holistic Coaching Wheel, and it's part of Webb's Quality of Life model. And we're looking at the sources out of Webb's Quality of Life model that is personal for you, that you have the power to take control over, to do something about. And I'm going to share with you one of my clients that I've had to see how this person filled in the wheel. Start with at home. So we're always separated. It's at home, at work. So now we're looking at home. How does this person that our coach manage his time? Not very well. Why might this be? Always very stressed. Nearly doesn't even spend any time at home, and it just, he doesn't feel, he's got no control over his time at all. What about his passion? Not much. He hasn't got any time for passion. He doesn't even know, home isn't even home for him. Health, well, he has a bit, he eats quite good food. His wife cooks him quite good food, so at least he feeds himself well. And he sleeps okay. He doesn't do any exercise or has no time for that, and tends to be quite stressed and feel the heart as well. The environment, it's okay. He's quite happy with his wife. The environment that he lives in. There are certain issues with his wife and people around him that doesn't feel good. He doesn't really talk about how he feels, but he keeps a lot inside of him. And his driving force at home is it's okay. It's just because he still feels like he could do better with his driving force. He's finding his motivation of being at home, but it's at least better than certain other issues. So then what he does, and what you also will be able to do now when you get your own time to do it, is to pinpoint 3. You pick 3. And normally what people tend to do is to pick the 3 lowest scored sources to see what would a first step, a motivated step, that you would be interested to can you all hear me, by the way? I just want to make sure that you still all hear me. I need to get the list up. Can you all hear me? You can all hear me. Well, good. I need some connection here, because I obviously am by myself here. So you can hear me. That's good. So I continue. Okay. I hope you're still on. So what we do now then is we're going to do exactly the same, but we will here be talking about work. How is your own quality of life at work? Or for that matter, at school, or if you're retired, you can use this for anyway. That's why it's a holistic model. Time, not good at all. It's always stressful. It's always like just trying to close fires down, and no time management at all. Passion is about the work. I believe in the business. What I do. So I'm happy with that. But the health, no way. I don't even take a break from the screen. Sometimes I don't even have lunch. I can feel myself being very, very stressed, and it's affecting my health negative. Got to see the doctor a lot, so he's a bit worried. environment, not very good at all. He doesn't really like duties that he's doing. He doesn't really feel like he's proud to go to work. He doesn't really want to go to work, but he believes in the product, the services that they do sell, so he's passionate about that. What about the people? Yeah. There's a lot of people that share the passion for what the business is all about. So he feels, you know, there's a lot of people there, but he still lots of things that could be better, but he feels fine, gets a bit of motivation from that. His driving force is a bit higher than at home because of the passion, but it's still something is not right with his duties. So then here, exactly the same. You need to pick 3. You pick 3. These are the 3 lowest ones that I want to work with, and I'm going to find the first step that I'm motivated to take in order to increase each one of these sources. And now comes the very interesting part, why this model is holistic. You put them next to each other. How your life is at home is different to at work. It's exactly the same source, but it's different. And this is why you, when you do this, you will leave it at least 6 steps to increase your own quality of life. 3 for your private life and 3 for your business. Okay, so I thought I can give you some inspiration from what other people have written, what they've made, changes they have made as their first step to change. We've got one person here, problem, unable to focus on my duties due to constantly being interrupted. And this focuses on then this source time and people. And what did this person decide to do? Solution. I shall inform colleagues about my situation and suggest a solution to how I can have undisturbed time each week. So again, communicating. What about this next one? Problem. Get stressed from all unanswered emails, and I often forget to answer emails. And I think this one is a very common one that comes up. And it's to do with the time, and it affects your health as well. What did this person decide to do? Well, the solution, every Friday at 4 p.m. I shall empty my inbox. And then you might think, oh God, I got like 3,000 in my inbox. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that in half an hour or 15 minutes. But then what I tend to share is say, you know what? Make a new inbox, in your new folder in your inbox called all emails. Drag all your emails in there. They're still there. Then start from scratch today. And that is just such a relief just to be able to start from scratch. And if you keep that every Friday, your inbox will never be full of 3,000 again. And then if you look here what people made changes they made at home then. Problem. I do not spend enough quality time with my family and have this guilt here. And it's like how they manage the time and also the people at home. What did this person do? Solution. I should start to have a computer for evening once a week. Because this person was always on the computer. I mean, in this day and age, we're all on the computer, aren't we, really? I try to be on it as little as possible, you know, because it's, I don't really like computers. I prefer people. Yeah, so this will, once they start to do this, a free evening, and they see the benefits of that, it's amazing what happens. It's like a positive energy that all of a sudden can create that you do more nights, and all of a sudden I'm going to try a weekend, not turn it on, and like, wow. And then when you turn on a Monday, it's like, oh my God, I haven't even missed anything. So it doesn't cost anything to try. All it costs is your motivation. Yeah, so then we got here the problem. The solution. I suffer from guilt that I'm not good enough. Well, this is the self-esteem and the people, and what did this person do? Arrange a time to talk to my partner, friend, and tell him or her how I feel. And a lot of the time, I said, "Oh, why are you ever guilty for that? That's nothing. Stop." And that's quite. I think a lot of women have. I used to have a really guilt for everything, especially when I'm going to the sauna for like 3 hours in Sweden. And first month, I used to have really, you know, I felt really guilty. Can I really be away for 3 hours? And my husband doesn't look after the kids, and he's cooking me a nice meal when I come home. And but then I told him how I felt. I said, "Oh, come on, you don't have to have guilt for that. I enjoy when you go, because when you come back, you're a lovely person. You're more relaxed, and you've got more patience with the children, and it's a win-win for all." So there we go. So nowadays, I have no bad pain. I don't feel bad at all when I go to the sauna. So now we're coming to your own work, and it will be 5 minutes that you're going to have time to spend on this. And what you're going to fill in the wheels, and then you're going to reflect and write down your first step. So just go with the flow. Whatever comes to you, just write it down. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one is seeing it. Just go through the waves like this. See how it looks today. No one is perfect. I mean, if you're honest with yourself and take this chance, I mean, you people that joined this, you really have got an opportunity here to make changes to your life at a no cost. The only cost is your time and your motivation to start making it happen. So I will now leave you to it, and if there's any question that comes up, then we should be able to answer them as we go along. But I think it's quite self-explanatory, the document. Don't read too much into it. You can fill in like the A4 sheet with the details afterwards. It's just an inspiration to start to analyze your own quality of life. And if you haven't got the document, then please just use a plain white paper, do a circle, get into 6 kicks, and then off you go. And I'm going to keep this screen on now, so you can see how this other profession fill theirs in. So I wish you good luck, and I put myself on mute now, and speak to you soon again. let's see, I just want to mention that we've got 1 more minute, okay, and then I would like to have everyone raise their hands when they're back on, so I can see that all the attendees are listening. So just 1 more minute to fill in your wheels. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Michelle. Nicola, thanks. Freedom, thanks. Thanks, Lenora. Thanks, Katie. Alistair, thank you. And Abby, thanks. Thanks, Caroline. Right, how are we all doing? Are you all, thanks, Richard. Can you please raise your hand if you hear me, and if we can continue? Thanks, Pamela. Thanks, Miklos. Thanks, Christopher. Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Robbie. What about Paul and Reese? Are you on there? Seem to have lost them there. Okay, I think we need to continue. Thanks for raising your hands, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed that session, and that it really has started to create some thoughts for yourself. And it's always a starting point. So I would like to actually congratulating you for spending that time to reflect. So you are on your way towards becoming successful, I would say. So then, what are the 3 steps to becoming successful? I think it's important. That's what I always tend to do, is to repeat the most important things, because it's a lot of things that you take with you from a session, but it's not often you remember much. You remember someone was talking, whatever, this and that. But for me, in my workshops and this webinar, wherever I do, it's important for me that people actually take something away that is worthwhile. And if you don't take anything else away from this session, I like you to take these, what I'm just going about to show you with you. And please write it somewhere. It could be in your phone, in your calendar, on the wall, at your office, around your picture, if you make a mood board or whatever. I'm sharing them now. Invest in your quality of life. Step 1. Step 2, prioritize time to reflect. And 3, act by making conscious decisions. And it isn't harder than that. It's up to you if you want to feel better about yourself. All I can do is inspire you to take that first step. And I mean, I know that all of you can do it. We all have the power within us. And I feel so for every single person. There's a reason why we all ended up where we are, but we can start to build a better future for ourselves. So with that, I just want to finish to say, if it's to be, it's up to me. So it's not up, well, it's not up to me if it's going to be for you. But, you know, it really is up to ourselves if we want to make a difference to our lives. So to summarize this webinar, I would like to say that I hope that you've been inspired and motivated to improve your life, starting today, right now, and that you also have a deeper understanding of why quality of life is the key to success, both in your private life and in your professional life. And finally, that you now have an individual action plan on how you will start to improve on your own quality of life, both at home and at work. First step if you've written down 3 steps for your private life and 3 steps for your business. If you haven't, please take a moment after the session and do that, and make sure that you only write down what you're motivated to do. And I'd like to finish off with that. Remember, who's the boss? If it's to be, it's up to me. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for taking part in the webinar, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. Even though I'm not seeing you, I've really enjoyed seeing you raising the hand. So if you can please raise your hand now, so I make sure I know you're still on. Please show your hand. Excellent. That's fast. You're awake. No one is asleep yet then. Well, that's good feedback. Thanks for that, everyone. And I'm now going to pass you over to Mark again. And I hope to be able to meet up with you or see you soon. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Pia. That was wonderful. So, yeah, I mean, while I will ask all of you to reflect on this session and jot down some questions you may have for Pia or for us, for Damarque, I will just reflect a little bit on what I just heard from Pia myself, and then again, by the way, you can use the chat function. And most of you have done that, so it works very well. So put your questions there, please, using chat. And then in a minute I'll get back to you with the questions. Now, Pia, it was really wonderful. If I listen, you know, I've been following along, and we have been preparing this webinar and had a few sessions about it. But still, you know, listening in live is a totally different experience. And what I have to say, I mean, I find you really highly credible. You know, you have been brutally honest about yourself. You know, showed your vulnerability and the things that you went through in your life, and I think that really makes you a real, authentic person. You know, you were saying you are now much more, I would say, self-aware and also open to taking input from others. So even your children, you know, which is not always easy. You are, which I really, you have some really very powerful lessons. I think it's a good model, an easy model to use. It makes a lot of sense. And the fact also, what I also liked about it is you said you listen to your body, with your whole story about you know, not believing doctors and you know, kind of experimenting with your food, and then, you know, taking away all milk products and then gluten products out of your diet, and then you saw a huge improvement. So you said, well, we are what we eat. So I think the key for me, the key learning is you have to take ownership for your life. One way we translate it is in you have to be responsible, which means responsible means able to respond, and responsible also means accepting everything that happens in your life, and not blaming anyone or any event, but also not blaming yourself.
Exactly.
I really like your powerful lessons, your health, your job, your life, and you gave some. Finally, I really liked your practical examples on where you said, well, get inspired by others. It's very simple, but most of us don't do it. Just, you know, ask or just discuss and share with other people what your preferences are or your limitations, and then you will find that people want to help you. You know, everybody wants to help other people. So thank you, Pia. I really enjoyed it very much. Let me see if we got some questions, and then again, use the chat function for questions. Let me see. Yeah, I got here a remark from Alan. He says, well, I've got no question immediately. I think I can imagine, because people need to probably let it sink in. You know, we went through a lot after a busy day at work. We had to go through this very important soul-searching exercise. So I can imagine that people maybe want to stay in the moment and come up with a lot of questions. So we totally appreciate that, Alan.